Alright, hey guys, just wanted to show you a quick admin script that I wrote for OpenStack. Just used the native Python clients and the native commands, but essentially it's just an easy way to go through and set up a bunch of users on multiple tenants, set their passwords, add them to admin, and things like that. Particularly handy if you don't have an AD-backed environment and you've got to manage multiple dev and test environments, like I commonly have to do or interact with anyway. The first part of it is, well, it's pretty well commented, and it's pretty basic how it works. But basically go through and set up some variables and arrays. One of the arrays is the list of environments you want to connect to, and the other array is the list of users, and that's basically the two loops that it walks through. So for each basically for each environment it goes through, and then for each user you have it will run some commands against that user for that environment. And I've got it all posted. I'll have links out here when I post this video too, where the full comments are, and things like that up on GitHub. So, like I said, you create an environment list, you create a user list, default admin tenant name and password. It's going to walk through first to make sure the credentials work. Assuming that those work, it keeps going. If not, it kicks out, so it doesn't throw a bunch of errors. It gets the admin tenant ID, it gets the admin role ID. Once it's got those two pieces of information for the environment, it then starts to loop through the users. And in this case, the first user it gets an ID for the user. Well, it checks to see if the user exists. If the user doesn't exist, it creates it, and then goes on down to add it to the admin tenant, to the admin role ID. If the user does exist, checks to see if it's enabled. If not, it enables it. It just updates the password. It doesn't check to see if the password was the same. It just writes over it. Then it checks to see if the user was already in the admin tenant and admin role. If not, it adds it there. And that was the breakout of the first if up there. If it doesn't exist, it creates it. And there's an error trap there if the credentials don't work. Then it just goes on to process the next user and moves on down the line. So in this example, I only have one user in my list, but I know that guy already exists because that's what I was testing with, and I've only got one environment. So you'll want to have a cred RC based on the environment name, because that's what it looks for to authenticate against. But that's it. Sets of variables, checks. The user didn't exist, created it, added it to the admin ID. If I run it again, so the user's there this time. So it's going to go in and see that the user's there and that it already exists, so it does nothing for that user. So pretty handy if you've got multiple environments and multiple users that you're constantly resetting or setting up, like in new environment builds and things like that. It's very much a pain to go in every time and set all that up, so hopefully this will provide some automation for you in that regard. Thanks, have a good one.